Sam Logue here from IrishBoxing.com. Delighted to be joined by Adam Smith here, the head of Sky Sports Boxing. It's a real pleasure, Adam. Thanks very much for talking to us.
No problem.
Obviously, you're not involved with Matchroom anymore, but you're down here at the Katie Taylor press conference. Do you want to give us a bit of insight into why you're here?
It's great to hear your dulcet tones. I miss being in Ireland particularly. I'm a huge fan of Katie Taylor's. I'm a friend of hers. Been a colleague for many, many years, and I think she is a huge pioneer of our sport, male or female. And obviously the women's side have been going for a huge boost. Sky and Boxer put on a phenomenal show a couple of weeks ago at the O2. Katie couldn't make it. She was out in training camp. I know she was ecstatic that it happened, so I wanted to come and ask her about it and about how she feels, her role is in all of this. Because for me, she's been incredible. We remember Jane Couch, we remember Christy Martin, Layla Ali, many sort of trailblazers before Katie. But for me,
Deirdre Gogarty in Ireland.
Yeah, many. But for me, Katie with the sort of flag at the 2012 Olympics and the fight with Tasha Jonas there, turning pro here at this arena 6 years ago. She's been unbelievable for boxing, and I wanted to talk to her about Savannah, about Clarissa, about Tasha's recent success, and Lauren and Karis and Caroline and everyone looking up to her, and obviously Kelly Harrington and Amy Broadhurst and all the great Irish women coming through the amateur scene. It's a fantastic time. I've wanted Katie to fight in Ireland for many years. I thought she might fight at Mill Street at one time, and it'd be great if she could fight at Croke Park. Irish boxing is very close to my heart, as well as Katie Taylor. So I wanted to be here just to see Katie. I'm going on Saturday. My girls are inspired by her, so my daughters will be there, and it's great to see her. Ellie Scotney's on the card, which is fantastic too. And I think that we've got the best female stable in the world, Boxer and Sky, with the likes of Tasha and Savannah, and I'll link through Dimitri Salita to Clarissa, and I'll link the top rank to Michaela, and obviously the great trio of Karis and Lauren and Caroline, who are going to headline stadium shows in years to come. So it's a wonderful time for women's boxing and women's sport. We saw that with the numbers at the O2, the 2 million a couple of weeks ago, and it's fantastic that Katie has really sort of inspired all of this.
Yeah, for sure. You talked a little bit there about kind of what Katie has done for females in boxing, if you like, and female boxing as a whole. But I would love to hear you talk a little bit about that. Like, how much of it do you put down to Katie? Like, I think a lot of people are of the opinion, and it might be ignorant, that she's kind of single-handedly brought female boxing to where it is. Others would say, well, the likes of Clarissa Shields and even Natasha Jonas and other big names have had a major part to play. But what's your kind of opinion? I know, obviously, from a biased Irish standpoint, and from if you think back to when boxing came into the Olympics, Katie Taylor is directly responsible for having the fight in front of the Olympic Committee to prove, that female boxing should be in the Olympics, etc. So obviously we have a biased opinion, but what's your view on that?
I think there's many great stories. I mean, Caroline Dubois is one now where she is looking up. When she was 11, she looked up to the 2012 women. That was the first time ever women boxed at the Olympics. I asked Katie about the Olympics possibly not having boxing in 2028. She's just horrified by it. The Olympics are a big thing, and I think because Katie was so huge at London 2012, as well as Clarissa for America, Savannah was for us as well, but she didn't make it, so she had to go for a different rise. But I think Savannah's story is incredibly inspiring. I think Tasha's story of the way she came back from the Vivian Obernauf defeat, and she's a mum, and how she's sort of bided her time. She's been unlucky with Terry Harper. Terry Harper's had an inspirational story. There's Chantel Cameron too, where she's come from. Lauren Price, Caris Arting's story, all of them now have got fantastic stories. Great to see Johnny Fisher there, the Romford Bull. But I think there's a lot of them. I mean, Clarissa Shields, what a story she's had. She's only 27, from Flint, and unbelievable what she went through in her childhood. Michaela Mayer, who didn't really have an idol to look up to in the boxing world, looked up to the Spice Girls. Alicia Baumgartner, who I got to know very well recently. There's so many great stories. So I think they all deserve credit. I go back to Jane Couch. But I mean, from my point of view at Sky, I knew Jane Couch very well, and she probably came before her time, where the matches weren't quite as good, but she was very inspirational. But for me, Katie was very important because I've got a lot of roots in Ireland. I've got Irish family. I was there for Collins Eubank and all the great times that we had in Ireland in the early days of Sky. So I got to know the sort of Katie Taylor journey, and the fact that she had to dress up as a boy, the whole story. I've been very inspired by her and got to know her and her family very well. So I personally think Katie has had a huge impact alongside the others. But you know, if you're going to pick one person, and Katie won't say she's the quote, that's Clarissa Shields. Katie will just say, I'm doing what I'm doing, and there's other great women.
Yeah.
But I think it's for us to say that Katie Taylor is a phenomenon. She's one of the main reasons why we're all here, and why female boxing is where it is today, why boxing is where it is today. And she's so humble and she's so classy, and I think there's every reason why so many people look up to her.
Yeah, absolutely agree. Couldn't say it better for myself. A couple of small ones I want to ask you about before I let you go. I know you're in a bit of a rush. What do you make of Gary Cully? Obviously another real big, I don't know if he's kind of transcended prospect now at this stage.
Really excited about him, actually.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he's after signing with Matchroom with DAZN, but you know, as someone who's
we can't talk about that then, can we? That's the no, only
but,
kidding.
Do you know what I mean? But someone who's so involved in boxing and obviously working with massive broadcasters like Sky Sports, you must have your eye on guys like that. And what do you think?
It's funny, you know, it's weird, like with Ben and I, we've been working really hard on sort of signing the Olympians, the likes of Fraser Clark and Ben Whittaker and then obviously the trio of women that we talked about. But we missed out on Mr. Yafai, and we missed out, as we saw today, on the likes of Pat McCormack and Mark Dickinson. They're great fighters. It's good. It's really good. Competition's great, and of course we're looking at them. We've got a Matchroom fighter coming up on November 12th on our bill against Casey Benjamin. That's Dalton Smith. Really looking forward to seeing Dalton on our card. It's a great night with Tasha headlining on November 12th. We've also got a fantastic night or afternoon show on November 27th with Adam Azim and all the young breakthrough stars. So of course we're looking out, but he's good. I think he's more than a prospect now, and of course he wants to fight at Croke Park if Katie Taylor gets there. So I'll be watching him with interest.
How do you see him in terms of the lightweight division? Do you think he's?
It's packed, isn't it?
It's just it's such a difficult division.
But it's great with these youngsters coming through.
But the likes of Gary, who's like 6'2" odd, you know, southpaw, slick, can bang hard with the left hand.
What is it about the Irish that provide these southpaws who are slick and can bang? There's something in the water, isn't there? Isn't there? Packy Collins is always telling me, you need to spend more time over here. There's something in the water. There's so much talent coming through in Ireland, and I think that's very much down to the Olympics. And getting back to that Katie's disappointment that maybe 2028 will not have boxing in the Olympics, people have got to do something about it, because we've got it for Paris, but we all know that the cycle, it's not just the Olympic Games and people want to be the Olympic champion, it's the whole sort of build up to it, and the fact they've got the Irish squad or the Team GB squad, they're fantastically looked after. You know, they're the elite, and we want that to continue so that we get stars of the future.
Definitely. The very last one is just in relation to the recent success of the Irish amateur ladies team. And just more particularly, will you be looking to sign the likes of Kelly Harrington? Is very much on the fence whether she wants to go pro. She's obviously one of the most accomplished female amateurs.
Amazing success.
Amy Broadhurst, Aoife O'Rourke, all three won gold at the European Championships last week. Will you be looking?
We're watching.
Pushing to sign any of those girls?
We're watching, and we always do. And it's not my job to sign fighters. That's Boxer and Ben's. But I'm there to help him and advise him, and obviously I'll be pushing him. I mean, John Wishusen's there as well. We all know what's happening out there, and and certain fighters will want to stay amateur. Certain fighters will want to turn pro, and I think there will be a more of a rush to turn pro now with the success. They're seeing the money that's coming in. They're seeing the crowds that are being packed out. So it's fantastic that there's so many great young fighters to choose from. And as I said to Katie, why do you think there's so much Irish success? It's down to you.
I think massively so. Yeah. Adam Smith, thanks very much for talking about
No problem.
Boxing.com. Pleasure.
Cheers, no problem. Good to see you.